in society, there's no punishment for immorality. Case in point, let's take the amazing Atheist. How does he end every video? Peace, out. You know, okay. That's okay. So it's not hurting anybody. It's not immoral. But what if your 6-year-old kid clicks on YouTube and sees this guy peacing the F out to everybody? Is this the guy that you want to help decide societal morality?
I don't think that you can blame society for something that I would consider to be a lack of good parenting. If you are particularly concerned with your 6-year-old seeing a video on YouTube, when you know full well what kind of videos are on YouTube, you should be more careful about what you allow your daughter to see, or allow your child to see.
I gotta say that I appreciate that, because right now I have 3 boys. I have 14, 8, and 4 years old, and my wife is currently pregnant, and we're praying for a girl. So maybe there's something behind the fact, the reason you just said my daughter. Who knows? Got my fingers crossed. Got my prayers said. I hope you're right. As far as what you said about watching your 6-year-old and being a good parent, I couldn't agree more. Absolutely. But there are times when you have no control. For instance, when the kid's at school, they got computers in school now like they didn't have when you and I were kids. Unless you are a lot younger than me, but you could be. I don't know. I'm only 33. You know, you could be 20. I can't tell by looking at you. Usually I'm a pretty good judge of that stuff. I can't tell if you are 23 or 33 or 43 or whatever, so consider that a compliment, my friend. But they have computers in almost every classroom now, and it's not like it was when we were kids. When you wanted to research something, you had to go find a book on the topic and study, and you know, or if you got really lucky, there was Cliff Notes, and you know, you could get the the meat of the whole thing just by reading those Cliff Notes sometimes. But now they got Google and obviously YouTube, and immoral stuff on the internet is very, very easy to come by. And as a parent, even if your child's only 6, that's kindergarten or 1st grade in most areas of the country, and if they got computers there, I know a lot of schools do a lot of work to block that stuff. A lot of libraries don't. You know, that's a government thing. They don't block them. But I think you get what I'm saying, that you can be a good parent the whole day, but it only takes one person that you put your trust in, or one person that that screws it up for you, you know, to mess up your kid's head.
But just to further exemplify my viewpoint on this matter, I think that there really isn't anything inherently wrong with the words "peace the fuck out." So I actually reject the implication that the amazing atheist sign-off is something that is morally apprehensible, that requires punishment. Furthermore, if your child were to see that YouTube video and without your approval, I think that as a parent you should have the moral fortitude to sit down with the child and explain it, rather than just simply dismiss it as wrong.
Okay, this cuts right to what I've been getting at for a while now, is that when society sets these rules that we're talking about, it's open to interpretation from anybody and anywhere. I mean, you don't think that's a bad thing. And to be honest with you, you know, I know he's trying to get a rise out of people. I don't think it's terrible. You know, I've been guilty of flipping off somebody on the freeway that cuts me off or throws something at my car or whatever. So, you know, I don't think it's the end of the world that he does that. But if we start allowing little stuff, then we start allowing the little bit bigger stuff. Then we start allowing a little bit bigger stuff. Then we start allowing a little bit bigger stuff. And, you know, eventually that kind of thing leads to, I don't know, the Wild West, or Definitely not a utopia if everybody can just do whatever they want and it doesn't matter who it hurts or whatever. So, I'm not terribly offended by the Amazing Atheist sign-off, but I do think there is a bit of immorality to it. Maybe not completely immoral in the definition of the word, but you can't say that it's exactly the moral or right thing to do. But see, if we disagree, then that's the problem with subjective morality. There is no who says you're right and who says I'm right. It's subjective, and then anything then can be subjective.
Now, I think my viewpoint on immorality versus social justice and punishment is something that actually might surprise you.
No, it's not going to surprise me. Like I said before, I can tell you're a pretty decent guy, so I can tell that this ain't going to surprise me in the least.
Because I do think that society should punish immorality. In fact, I would say that it is immoral for society to allow immorality to run rampant or to be acceptable. But let me be clear. I believe in kind of an equal but opposite reaction form of social moral punishment. You see, it's actually kind of funny. I think religion kind of got this one right.
No, that's not funny. Religion is right about a lot of things. I'm not surprised, and in a sense, I'm surprised you are. Even if I prescribe to some atheist belief about the Bible, so my father-in-law is an atheist, so I'll use him as an example. He says that the Bible was written to scare people, to keep them in line. Otherwise, they'd be running around acting like animals, or doing whatever they wanted to do to whoever, and it was survival of the fittest and not anything else. So he wholeheartedly believes that the Bible was just a source for people that were hungry for power to grab control of the masses and put them in fear of something. If it was written by God and that was God's purpose, then yeah, I'm sure there's not going to be a whole lot of surprises in there. If it was written by man and that was man's purpose, somebody wanted a moral society. Somebody wanted a society where people were treated with the very minimal amount of respect, if nothing else.
The notion that people should be held accountable for their actions, I think is something that is very true. You should be held accountable for your actions, but I think that you should be held accountable for your actions in this life.
And I think this is where I surprise you. I absolutely agree. I think if we were held accountable in this life, that we could even cut down on actual crime by holding people accountable for immorality. We could cut down on the number of people hurt in a society. We talked about needless harm before, and I think we could cut down on a lot of that by setting a moral code, if you will. This is why I happen to prescribe to the Holy Bible, especially the New Testament, because it sets a minimum moral code for me. Maybe I shouldn't say minimum, because actually, if you look at it objectively, and leave out your prejudices about the Bible or God, Jesus Christ set a pretty high standard with his life. He committed no sins, which we know can look around the world and say that it's impossible not to do something that's not considered a sin. But at the very minimum, I can't speak for all Christians, but I can say that people that have had the experience that I've had, the life-altering, born-again experience, if you will, are the ones that are going to at least give it the old college try. You know what I mean? I'm fallible, I'm human, I'm not perfect, but I'm striving for something better and following an example of a man who did it better, at least scripturally, at least by, I guess you could say it's the biography of his life. And you know, we're always going to fall short, but to me, and it doesn't hurt to try. I think it's in everybody's best interest that we try to set a standard for ourselves as high and as moral as possible, and that does as little harm to others as possible.